Hey everybody, I am sitting in my chair here and raise it up a little bit. My kid, man, he likes to come down here and mess with the arms on my chair, mess with the height. He knows it aggravates me, so I know he does it on purpose. So today I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the home buying process. I'm putting it on tape because I got a call from a new client last night. I've been working with him for a little bit, and he's bought properties before, but to my surprise, he still felt a little unfamiliar with the process. And I've explained it to him, and his response was, "That's the easiest context I've ever heard it put in." So I'm gonna put it in those words before I forget them, down on tape for you. So the home buying process. Hopefully, if you're in Southern California, if you're in LA, first thing you've done is call me. But if you're outside the area, the rules might be a little different for your markets, but the steps are the same. So I'll go based on how I do it here in LA. The first step, the very first step, even if you haven't spoken to a realtor, is getting a loan approval. Okay, we call them you've heard them called pre-qualification letter, pre-approval letter. Every bank is a little different. They pretty much just gather your information and they ballpark you on what they feel you're gonna qualify to mortgage and what your ballpark interest rate is gonna be like. That's the very first step. It's free. It's the most important step because without an idea of how much you can borrow from the bank in order to purchase your property, it makes it really hard in selecting a property. And second, when you start writing offers, those offers, the bank will actually give you a letter saying, "Hey, so-and-so is qualified for $1 million. We vouch for them, and this letter is good for 90 days. That gets attached to the offer, along with something else called the proof of funds, which these days, it's just what you're gonna use for your down payment. How much cash you have in the bank. So if you were gonna put, let's say, 20% down on $1 million property, you're gonna show a bank statement saying that somewhere you have $200,000 in cash available to you. And that can be as easy as a screenshot of your bank statement on your cell phone. You can just black it out, your account number, and you go from there. If your offer gets accepted, you have 3 days to put a 3% deposit down. It's called an earnest money deposit, and that's when you open escrow. Escrow is this word that you hear everywhere. In escrow, we're in escrow. What is escrow? Escrow is pretty much somebody who's organized and takes all the stuff, all the materials that you're gonna provide to me, or all the materials you're gonna provide to the bank. You're gonna send it all over to escrow. Escrow is gonna make sure that all the documents are in order, all the I's are crossed, or all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed. And they're gonna make sure that all the documentation from the property that you're buying, that the sellers provided all the documents, their job is to make sure that all the tax liens, everything is accounted for, so that when you come to the closing date, that's the date where all the money transfers from the bank and funds your property. At the end of that, you get your keys and you get to move into your new house. They just want to make sure that everything is in order and that nobody's missed any steps, whether that's me, whether that's your lender, whether that's throughout the inspection period, whatever. Really basic, really simple. It's just a series of steps. When you're going through the process or you're starting at the very beginning, just know a couple things. One, if you work with a realtor, hopefully your realtor is ethical. Work with somebody who you feel comfortable with, because that relationship, it can go on for months and months until you find the property. So you're gonna wanna pick somebody that you're comfortable working with. Two, the lender. If you're calling traditional Bank of America, Wells Fargo, credit unions from your job, lenders in California are regulated by the state. So they have to answer to a higher authority. So it's just not some person who's not, especially if they work for the bigger banks, They really do know what they're doing. And again, with lenders, usually a realtor will tell you that they have a preferred lender. I know I have a few, and that just means it's somebody who I like working with, and I feel will get the job done, answer all our questions, answer all my clients' questions, because hey, I don't know everything. So sometimes I often say, that's a great question for the lender, let's call them up. Or that's a great question for escrow, let's call them up. Because we're all experts in our relative fields throughout the process. And the escrow company, they're also, escrow companies, they are, they got a tough gig. And usually their reputations precede them. And when a seller asks their agent, hey, what escrow company do you recommend? They're also recommending somebody that they believe is going to be organized, get the job done, not drop the ball, make sure that all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed. So everybody, as you build your team, just make sure everybody is licensed and verified, and it becomes a referral network. Look at it this way, when you get on an airplane, you automatically assume that the airline you've chosen has vouched for the pilot, and that pilot sitting in the cockpit has the training and the credentials to get you from point A to point B. You don't need to understand all the logistics of flight, the physics, everything that he's doing up there. You just know that when the light comes on, you buckle up, and when the light comes off, you're free to go use the restroom. You don't question any more than that. And that person, you're putting your life in their hands. The real estate process, it's the same thing. There's a pilot, maybe there's a co-pilot, there's an engineer, there's a flight attendant, and everybody, their job is to make your home buying experience a comfortable experience. Okay, hope that didn't get too wordy and went much longer than I expected. My name is Andy Martinez Jr. I'm right here in Los Angeles. I love working with buyers. I love listings. Buyers are kind of fun, especially first-time buyers, because there's a lot of excitement in their faces when they get that first place. And I like to be a part of that. My number, just look below, right there somewhere in the YouTube window, but it's 310-597-2089. You can send me an email, amjr@andymartinezjr.com. And if you ask me a question on the comments, I'll do my best to answer. And if I don't have the answer right away, I'll find you the answer. And if I can get 5 comments on this video, 5 comments, I'll pick somebody at random and have these new t-shirts coming out, and I'll send them to you free of charge. One of ya. All right, have a good day. Bye.